This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We are here. It's the start of fight week for Whitaker's Matchroom debut, 3.5 years after it was meant to be. Feel good this one, Frank?
It's good. It's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Big night in Birmingham on Saturday. It's come around very quickly. We signed him 7 weeks ago, nearly 8 weeks ago, and to be here headlining his first show, it's going to be a big night and the start of something very special.
Yeah, when I spoke to him earlier today, I said, do you want to kind of take over Birmingham and make it your home like a Kell Brook or Ricky Hatton in their cities? And he said, I do, but I've got bigger plans. I want to be global. I want to go over to America. So with your global brand, that's music to your ears, right?
100%, but that was always the focus for us. We believe he can be a superstar in the sport, not just in the UK, but on a global level. That's why we're so excited about where the future is going to take us together. It's going to be a good journey together. Birmingham will always be important, but he can sell out arenas all around the UK, all around the US. We'll take him to Japan eventually as well. I'm excited about it.
Strategically, how fast do you move Ben Whitaker? He's 28 years old. He hasn't been the most active fighter at the start of his professional career, but where do you go with him?
The key is all about activity. The key is all about making fights now and keeping him busy. He's, like I say, we signed him 8 weeks ago. He headlines already. He's going to have 3 fights in 2026. And the right fights. It's not about anyone else. It's not about any other name. It's about getting him in the right fights that position him and set him up for those big fights, those world title fights when they come. That's going to be the focus for us. So it's not just focusing on this individual name. It's about Ben Whitaker. Don't worry about anyone else.
Do you see him entering that higher level domestic mix, the Joshua Buatsis, the Anthony Yards, or is it WBC silver on Saturday night and position him correctly to not leapfrog them, but just focus on a strategic path to get him to a world title?
It was focused on a path that revolves around him, not revolves around other names in the sport. And those other guys have done great, like Anthony Yard's done great things, Joshua Buatsi has as well. But it's about his journey and how do we prepare him to get to the very top of the sport. And I don't think he's had that activity, that momentum, those fights to prepare him for that yet. And that's our job to deliver for him now.
Massive card Saturday night. And I know you said on Ariel Hawani's show, it was a bit of a scramble to get this card together. It's not the Resorts World Arena that we usually see. It's at the Birmingham NEC. Bit of a throwback to fight nights at the NEC, but it's going to be a great night.
Yeah, we had to build a venue inside the hall, to be honest. We're going to have just over 4,000 in there. It's going to be packed out on Saturday. We made it work. It wasn't ideal. I'd rather have gone to an arena. It'd be much cheaper as well. But yeah, the focus was we got this date from DAZN. We got Ben signed. It was like, right, we've got to make it work one way or the other. So it's going to be a great show. You got the rematch of Vuong and Gwyn on that card as well. Is going to be a great fight. Aaron Bowen, a huge ticket seller, he's back out as well. Molly McCann is back out again. Ibrahim Spider Suleiman on the card as well. Zelfa Barrett, excited to see his return also. So no, it's going to be a good night of boxing, top to bottom.
When you build arenas, whether it be like Saturday night in the NEC, where you've kind of got to build from the start up, York Hall completely transformed that the other night. Is that your final say? Is that like your passion where that lies, the event side?
Yeah, that's always been my passion, is the event and putting on a show. For me, you can't control the boxing. I can control what an event looks like and the show we put on. So that's always been the focus for me, very much so, since I started. And these are fun. You get to build something new. It's not cheap, though.
How important is Ben Whitaker's rise for British boxing in bringing in a new crop of stars?
100%. That's why we made such a big play for him, because we believe he can be the superstar of the sport. And again, like I said earlier, it's not just about one fight. See you later. It's not just about one fight. This is about a long-term relationship, about building the star for the future.
If you could name, along with Ben Whitaker, 2 other stars that you think can carry British boxing in the future, who would they be? But one can't be signed with Matchroom right now.
So I have to do 2 others?
Yeah, so one with Matchroom, one without.
I think you have to look at Conor Benn in the position he's in. He's 28 years old, 29 years old, just come off the back of 2 huge stadium shows. He's going to be involved in the biggest fights in the sport. And one other that isn't with Matchroom. I think you have to look at Moses Atalma right now. He's got the potential. He's definitely got the skill set, the boxing ability. And the character side is what they're going to have to develop over the next few years. And he's 21 years old, isn't he, or 20 years old? But you'd have to say Moses is a very, very is a great star that's got huge potential.
Let's talk about the schedule towards the end of the year. In your time at Matchroom, has there ever been a busier 5-6 weeks?
It's a hectic period. I think we've got 7 shows in 6 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever. It's going to be a busy few nights at the office over the next 5 weeks, but it's a great time. It's a great time to be involved. You've got Birmingham, you've got Monaco, the best show I think we've ever done in Monaco on December 6th. December 13th, Diego Flores against Sergio Joe Caldina on that card as well. Is a Diego Pacheco, sorry, I said Flores. Diego Flores. Flores is on the card as well, but Diego Pacheco. December 17th, we've got Giorgio Vizioli headlining in London on the Zone. December 19th, obviously, Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua. December 20th, we're in Ghana with Craig Richards, Dan Aziz. December 27th, we got the Night of the Samurai with the Riyadh season team out in Saudi. What are times to be involved in boxing? You know, great cards, week in, week out. And then you look into January and February, we've already announced 4 shows, we've got more to come. I'm buzzing for it.
Another thing you mentioned on the Ariel Hawani show last week is kind of your sacrifices. You don't know how much longer you've got left at the consistency you're doing it right now. Just take, for example, December 27th. Like, a big part of the team are going to sacrifice their Christmas, including yourself. Is that, in your mind, part and parcel of the job, or is it a big thing to miss out on Christmas and put on, which is an absolutely massive show?
I mean, look, it's an extra mile, isn't it, to miss out on Christmas, of course. Look, it's the only period of the year, really, we ever get which is a bit quiet, you know. Boxing used to have breaks, but now it seems to be non-stop. But it's part and parcel of it. You know, we're grateful to do what we do. You know, if we didn't want to do it, no one's forcing us to do it. We're here because we want to do it. And we've been involved in some of the biggest nights of the sport over the last 15, 20 years. So it's good times. But look, people always look at sacrifice and look, it's like a sob story. It's not a sob story. It's just you give up a lot. People see good things, as always in life. We live in a world of social media where you see nice things, you see everything's good, happy, great. But there's a lot of work that goes in the background. But yeah, it's going to be a busy end to the year. Didn't go down well at home.
I spoke to Ben Shalom yesterday, your pal. As you said, pathological liar on the Ariel Hawani show. Yeah, I can't believe I said that. That's terrible of me. Sorry. One thing he did say was he believes that there will be a trilogy fight between Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. From your standpoint, I know you probably don't want it to happen because you was relieved it's over, but is there any possibility of that happening, Frank?
I don't know if he even actually represents Chris Eubank Jr., to be honest. I don't know what his involvement is. I mean, you saw him at the press conference afterwards. Chris didn't even want him to talk, so I don't know where the lines are of what his actual involvement are. I hear the talk about 168. I mean, like, Conor is, for all the back and forth before, Conor is a 147 fighter. Yes, he hasn't fought there in a long time because his fights have been at a higher weight, but his aim is to go back to 147 for the big fights. He's not going to go... And I'm not saying he doesn't do it. What, for 50 million does he go and fight 160? Of course. You can't say never say never in this sport. But the reality is Conor isn't going to pick a 168 fight with Eubank over a 147 fight against Ryan Garcia or a Devin Haney or, you know, all of these types of names. You know, that's always been his plan. I wouldn't want to see it again. In a sense of personally. I mean, I've spoken about it a lot. It was draining. You know, business is one thing, but when it comes into your personal life, it's very different. So I'd be happy never to see that fight again.
Until both of their sons fight in about 25 years' time.
Or if I have a son, I can name it Eubank, and then we can do Eubank Ben.
Has the odds slimmed or increased on the name of Chris's sons? What we done fight week?
What did we say fight week?
I think Frank was 6-1. I think.
No, that wasn't names. That was who's going to be the Godfather.
Oh, the Godfather. Yes, you're correct.
Now the fight's out the way, I've actually moved to a 4-1 second favourite as well to be Godfather. But only
who's favourite?
Favourite at the minute in the running is Bomac for the energy, unmatched energy he brings.
I want to ask you about Wayne Day. We did ask Eddie about this, but I don't even know if you're aware about this. But you and Mazza had a little go at each other again, right?
Did we? I'm very chilled. Like, my job is to run an event and make it as fair as for everyone. And he got upset because I didn't let a camera up there. When we didn't have a camera up there, Connor didn't have a camera. It was all just fair above the board, you know. And he got upset about it.
Eddie loves the fact that when you have rows, like whether it be Mazza, whether it be Simon Jordan, do you ever just... Your character, you're not really someone who gets into rows all the time. So I think Eddie finds it funny that when you do, it's a bit out of the ordinary.
It's not really a row, though, for me, because I'm so, like, placid. It's more just, like, people shouting at me and me going, oh, you know, relax. Like, don't worry about it. I don't really... It's not a row. I would never call it a row.
Have you ever raised your voice in an argument in boxing?
I don't really raise my voice.
I can't imagine you.
You saw me with the clip in the first way when it was with Maz. He was calling me a prick, and I was like, sorry? Like, I'm probably... My sarcasm... You know, my dry sense of humour probably rubs people up the wrong way. But what's the point in shouting? You know, and also, someone's going to hit you. They're going to knock me out in a punch. So if they're going to hit me, I'm in trouble. You know, so I just take it on the basis that most people aren't actually going to do anything. A lot of people are all bark, no bite. You know, in this sport especially, there's a lot of people talking. But if I do ever get hit, you know, I'm probably getting chinned I'm down, aren't I? After one punch. It's not like it's going to be a tear-up.
Last thing I want to talk to you about is AJ Jake Paul. First of all, we all saw the Netflix documentary where there was tensions between yourself, Eddie, and Nikisa. Has those been rubbed out now?
No, I think tensions come and go as with difficult situations and when things are heightened and there's stress levels heightened. When it comes to making deals, if it's a good deal and it makes sense, whether you get on with someone that you don't, you know. And with Nikisa, the deal was very simple and easy. Him and Eddie did it, got it together very quickly. Fair play, you know. And yeah, have we always got along or seen eye to eye? No. But can we make deals happen? Yeah, of course we can.
Eubank Ben Fight Week, we saw the video of Eddie and Gareth A. Davis going at it about the legacy of AJ. Do you believe this does affect his legacy going forward?
Not at all. No, I think, like, look, everyone's got a view on AJ. Some people will never give him the credit I think he deserves in the sport. And it's just another night, isn't it? He's going to go in there and chin Jake Paul and then get back to what he's doing. He's a two-time unified heavyweight champion of the world. You know, he's done things that 99.999999999999999% of people will never do. You know, and for people to sit there and go, look, everyone can have their opinion, but to sit there and go, oh, it's crazy he's doing this. Well, if I offered you a truckload of money to go and do your job, but really easy, you'd say yes. So would I. Well, that's the world, you know, look, everyone's doing what makes sense for them. And it's not like anyway, people weren't going, oh, I love AJ. A lot of people would never give him the credit he deserves. So he's got to do what works for him, and this works for him.
I know as well as anybody that this is a proper fight, it's a professional fight, and the fact that people are calling it scripted, if you like, is a bit mad. But what do you say to people who are saying, is there anything in the contract that AJ's got to do? Has he got to hold him up for 8 rounds?
No holding up. Just march over, knock him out, bang, let's go home.
Let's go home.
You want to do as little work as possible for the dough, don't you? So if you can go in there and it takes 7 seconds, happy days.
I know there's always a question of activity with Anthony Joshua, and it was important for him to get out before the end of the year. If this does last 30 seconds, how quick does he need to be out in 2026?
There's a lot of talk about what's next, you know, early part of next year. So let's see. You know, look, he's got December 19th to get through first. That'll be the focus, then we go from there. Key is more just getting in the ring under the lights, delivering a performance, and on we go.
Frank, thank you very much for being to IFLTV. Tune in this Saturday live on the Zone. Thank you very much, mate.
Cheers, mate.